before we get started, I'm gonna need y'all to quit playing with my uncle on my wallet and buy some shit.
Hey, yo, what up, y'all? Today I want to take a moment to address a very disturbing trend that I'm seeing in our culture. I recently came across a video from Dr. Jared Ball of Black Power Media, where he was in some ways being condescending or belittling remarks that were made from Brother Rashad Bilal of the Earn Your Leisure Network. Now, the reason why I had a problem with this particular video is black revolutionaries who are critical of black entrepreneurs and black businesses often do so at our own expense and to our detriment. I believe that it is the most counter-revolutionary thing that you can do to be critical of black business people just for their desire to want to do business. So what I want to do really quick is just play this clip, and then I'm going to follow this clip up with a clip from Dr. Amos Wilson, who's saying something that is almost identical to what's being said by Brother Rashad Bilal of the Earn Your Leisure Network. So
never apologize for making money. Right. Because we in a capitalistic society. This is what they put us in. I ain't choose to be in America. This is what I was born in. So I'm gonna make the most of the opportunity that's provided for me. They demonize wealth and say, oh, you got to be poor. And you know, somebody said on the other day, they said Jesus said that you have a rich man has the odds of a needle in a haystack of making it to heaven, something like that. I said, what's the odds of a poor person? That's what they never told you. You know what I'm saying?
No. The reason why I wanted to lead off with that clip is because making fun of, belittling, talking down to, or being condescending to black people for their desire to want to do business, for their desire to want to be entrepreneurs, is the most counter-revolutionary thing that we can do. If we consider ourselves to be leaders, if we consider ourselves to be revolutionaries, then you understand that revolution costs, right? Any major transformation or transformative initiative at the scale or the societal level is going to require a war chest. Where are those funds going to come from? Us isolating our business community and us talking down on our business community is the most backwards thing we can do as people who consider ourselves to be revolutionaries. I don't want any part of any of that type of nonsense. I don't want any part of that. That's why I wanted to do this quick video, just to address this subject, because in 2023, this is something that we honestly need to get past. There is no virtue in poverty. Being poor does not make you righteous. Having the desire to start a business to create wealth, there's nothing wrong with that. And more black people in our community need to be aspiring to do so. Right? We understand that financial liberation is not complete liberation, but it is a necessary and pivotal point on the road to true liberation. Dr. Malana Karenga once said, in order to free the people, you first have to free their time. So I'm not going to be mad at anyone who's had the ingenuity to create and develop wealth, and they've been able to free their time. They don't have to sell their labor for wages. I'm not going to be mad at that. And I'm not going to condemn that, because we need more of our people in our community to do that. So I want to give a shout out to Brother Rashad Bilal. And before I close out, what I want to do very quickly is play some audio remarks from Dr. Amos Wilson, who we all love and respect, who was giving nearly an identical message to what you just heard from Rashad Bilal. So here it is.
This black man, you see, has been duped by this religion into hating money and hating wealth. And I try to tell black people, we are wealth-producing people. Where do we get this thing here of identifying with poverty? Where do we get this craziness of seeing poorness and goodness as the same thing, and seeing virtue in poverty? We have to get it from the other people. It doesn't make any sense. There's no greatness in being poor and poverty-stricken. In fact, there's great sin that flows out of poverty. Yeah. Look who hits you over the head. Rich folk? Are they the ones mugging you out here? No, poverty is not automatically virtue. But of course, you see, the other people, in order to rob us and keep us poor, makes us associate virtue and poverty.
Yeah, and we have to break that connection. That connection has to be broken in our mindset. Poverty does not make you a revolutionary. Poverty does not make you righteous. Poverty does not make you a good person. There's no virtue in it. Just as there's no virtue in being wealthy, just like being wealthy doesn't make you a revolutionary, right? So it's all about your character. It's about what you know, what you've read, what you studied. So rather than condemn our business community, why don't we lock arms with them and make an attempt for us to get on the same page, to move in the same direction? Because they're working. They're moving to what they believe is freedom. For them, it may be financial freedom. And as revolutionaries, we can identify that financial freedom is a pivotal stop on the road to true freedom and to true liberation. You don't get there without stopping there first. You have to be able to free your time. That requires resources, right? And I guess since we are in the RBG war room, right? It wouldn't be right, right? It wouldn't be right with us being here in the RBG war room with Garvey, the dean of the African War College, sitting right to our left. It wouldn't be appropriate if I didn't just introduce, just very quickly, a few quotes from Garvey on the matter. Matter of fact, let me make this larger because I want y'all to be able to read it with me. So, first quote from Garvey. He says here that a race that is solely dependent upon another race for economic existence sooner or later dies. How much sense does it make for us to condemn the people in our community who are trying to improve our economic reality? How much sense does that make? Right? Let me give you another quote from Garvey because I think this is critical. He says here, every student of political science, every student of political economy, every student of economics knows that the race can only be saved through a solid industrial foundation. Full stop. Without a solid economic foundation, Booker T. Washington said the same exact thing. Without a solid industrial foundation to build upon, we're not going anywhere. We're going to be reliant upon the charity and the goodwill of other communities that have a solid economic foundation if we don't build our own. And that doesn't make sense to me. Last but not least, final quote from Garvey. He says here, any leadership that teaches you to depend on another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Let that sink in. Hold on. I want y'all to let that sink in. Garvey said, any leadership that teaches you to depend on another race is a leadership that will enslave you. So Dr. Jared Ball's condescension, his belittling, disparaging remarks towards Black entrepreneurs, Black business owners. Like, we have to be critical of people who take those positions. Especially, it was recently brought to my attention that Dr. Ball was actually the recipient of a freedom scholarship, of a freedom grant. So the Margaret Casey Foundation gave Dr. Ball $250,000 so he could focus on whatever efforts he's doing in pursuit of freedom. I think that that's a good thing. I think that it's good that people with resources give them to people who have ideas and that are trying to build on behalf of our people. They free up their time because you can be more effective when you don't have to worry about your 9 to 5. You don't got to worry about working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. You get to focus that time exclusively on building, exclusively on writing, exclusively on building programs. But my thing is, just don't be a hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite, because the Margaret Casey Foundation is just a spinoff of the Casey family foundations. And when you want to know who is the Casey family, it goes back to Jim Casey, the founder of UPS, one of the most successful commercial businesses in the United States. Right? A captain of industry. So you just got cut a significant check from a captain of industry, but yet you're talking down on black people who have a desire to be captains of industry. That doesn't make sense to me. And in 2023, I'm hoping that we can stop doing that. I'm Omowale Africa, and this is the American Wealth Network.